is Andreas Weisen. I am the master of Eastrocken Productions, and today we are going to be doing a cooking video, and it is not meant to be a ranting video, but anyway, whatever happens during the video, it happens during the video. I have planned to make a macaroni pudding, or that's what they call it here. Macaroni låda, the macaroni pudding. Macaroni box or macaroni pudding. And it is a traditional Swedish meal, but this one is made a little bit according to my own style. And also I've been inspired by my mother, who had this as a favorite, and it was also one of my favorite meals when I was a kid, and even in my teens I thought it was delicious. And so let's get to it, shall we? Right, the ingredients in this case are as follows. Over there is a falukorv, which is a Swedish sausage, bacon. It is usually pork belly, but I don't have pork belly at home, but bacon works just as fine. Garlic, onion, eggs. Oh, I forgot the important one. Of course. And just to be formal, macaroni. This macaroni just needs 7 minutes to cook. I'm not going to cook it all the way. I'll cook it for 5 minutes, and the finishing touches will be in the total food itself. And then for you that don't have this falukorv here, one can use, for example, normal sausage. I'm just demonstrating here with a chorizo sausage, which I'll be using anyway later on. And then as I don't have fresh tomatoes at home, I'll use a little bit of these tomatoes here. They are crushed, but if one doesn't use too much of it, then it's quite fine anyway. Right, in that pan here is umami and meat broth and vegetable broth. I'll be cooking the macaronis in that. It is also garlic and oregano and some parsley, fresh parsley inside this here. I'll transfer it to this one because I don't quite need that large amount. But when I mix all the ingredients together, I'll be using that pot over there and then transferring it to that thing there, which then goes into the oven. So, shall we get started? Now that the intro has been completed, so to speak. I'll step the picture out to a little bit of a wider angle. And I have another camera over there, which will be handling the close-ups of this area. So you'll see video partially at the same time as that. Now to start this off, we go with 1, 2, 3. Right, let's move this over to that one, like so. Pull down the temperature. Just slow down a little bit for the timing. Before we start that, get out 2 eggs. I only use 2. Normally it would be 3 eggs, but since I'm it's mainly for my own eating purposes, it'll only be 2 eggs because it's going to be mixed together. What shall we use? I don't want to. Oh well, whatever. No matter how one tries to avoid getting a lot of dishes to do, it's literally impossible. So, 1 egg. 2 eggs. A little bit of parsley. And since I like oregano in this, I will use a little, not too much though, just so that one has a hint of oregano. Salt. I can use quite a bit of salt actually. And then normally it would just be 1 pepper type, but here is a pepper mix. I don't know if you can see that. It is 5 types of different pepper, and it looks something like that. You mustn't beat it too hard. It's just so enough that it breaks up the egg yolk and egg whites. And then one clove of garlic. I'm taking one in a miniature one. And I use a garlic crush, like so. And then, so it doesn't get stuck in the crush, it's important to remove the skin of the garlic, like so. This one we can pass back to the fridge. Slow that down a little bit more. Then make macaronis. One and a half cups should be enough, I think. I hope. Or maybe not. I see that it's a little bit too little. And about, let's say about half a cup more. Speaking of the cup that I used, just to advertise a little bit for the area. This cup is a handcrafted cup. It's from Larsson's Pottery, which is in the area where I live. It's handmade, so he sells and creates a lot of stuff, from noodle pots to pots and pans of all different kinds. Right, then we have to add some milk to the egg mix here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tablespoons, like so. I might need more later on. Mix it in, and just for good measure, add a little bit of butter to give it more. For you that are lactose and gluten allergists, you should be using lactose and gluten-free milk and products, and this will work just fine. Even the pasta, the macaronis themselves are available in gluten-free, or gluten-free. I don't know what it looks like in your country, but here in Sweden it is. One can get hold of gluten-free. I've got a timer on the microwave so I can keep tabs of it. Then we bring out, normally I wouldn't use that one, but doesn't matter. It'll have to do for today. I have a Japanese knife, cutting knife, which I use quite a lot. Let's see, shall we use half of it or should we use the whole thing? Oh, what the heck. And yeah, for you that are cooking for others as well, it would be a good idea to use gloves, of course. Latex gloves. won't be using the whole thing here anyway. And then I have these amazing, effective, resealable plastic bags, so that we can use it over and over again. Like so. We'll de-skin that. One of the fun things about this Swedish falukorv is also very popular among kids, is the last part of it. This Swedish falukorv that you see there, it is edible even without cooking it. And many people, they when they barbecue over open, oops, of course it had to go down on the floor, but never mind. They barbecue over open fire or a fireplace, and then eat as a snack. One can use this falukorv on as a sandwich extra. There we go. Now let's move this out of the way, shall we? Like so. I'm not going to move the bacon just yet. Let's fire up the stove for the frying of the food. I've cooked these at a very low rate of speed because I have to do the rest of the stuff at the same time. And so why rush? Let's grab a cup of coffee, shall we? A little bit of morning sugar doesn't hurt a flea. Right, now that we've come this far, we can get out the food brush. Excuse me for moving you around, but it shouldn't be a problem. Like so. And move you back to where you were. And let's prepare the pan with just a little smidgen of butter, like so. And then we let that stand for a while just to flow itself together, so it's not so much brush stuff. Otherwise it has a tendency to stick. Stick and burn, which is not good at all. Right, now to take out my special knife. This knife has been with me for a long time. My parents bought it and they used it themselves, but it was mainly with the general idea that it would be very easy to use. It was bought in one of these manufacturing campaigns back in the day when I was living in South Africa. And there was a salesman came and he said that this knife is one of the greatest knives that you can imagine, and blah 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 blah, and you know the general story. The funny thing is there's no markings as to which manufacturer it is on it. Quick peel the onions. And don't cut all the way through the onion. Leave an edge at the end. And there we go. It was too fresh, the onion, to be able to hold together. No, well, never mind. Just take it slow. That'll do nicely. There are those that don't like large amounts of onion, but I do. Excuse me. Like so. For my part, it doesn't matter if there's a little bit of roughness in the onion. Traditionally, it would be finely chopped. But I do it here. And then into the frying pan with it. So, I'm going to bring out the tomato. Tomato. Right, so these are done. Now we can move them over to that pan after removing the fluid part of the whole thing. I saved yesterday's mix to use today for extra spice. Normally you would just cook the macaroni in salt. Let's check up that they're not stuck together, like so. Then we need a scissor, like so. And now we need to turn on the oven, 200 degrees Celsius. Oh. Now I'm going to bag it because I'm going to use this one tomorrow when I'm doing the Asian meal. Go. Not too much, not too little frying, just to get a bit of the moisture out of it. And add it to the macaronis, like so. Now just a little bit of just a smidgen, not too much. Like so. With the bacon, it'll normally just some people they prefer to get the bacon apart before cooking it. I normally just throw it down in the pan and then as it gets more and more cooked it'll separate by itself. But okay, we'll do it this way today for the video's sake anyway. Some say, why do you, well, some people that I do know have asked me, why do you cook the bacon when it's going to get cooked in the oven anyway? Well, to be honest, I don't have to have it in the oven as long. It saves time. The only thing one really needs to cook, pre-cook, is the macaroni, the pasta. You don't need to cook the rest because it gets cooked in the oven anyway. But then you have to have it in the oven 50 minutes instead of 30 minutes. I will pause the video during the cooking process in the oven. Let's go in for a closer look, shall we? I can go in even closer. Like so. Add the sausage. Just a light Some people like my mother, for example, she added paprika to the mix, and I would also have been using broccoli if I had remembered to buy it. But of course I didn't remember that, because I hadn't actually planned to do this thing right now today. But I have to make a run into town and into the city. So it is suitable that when I get back home again and have the laundry later on, I don't have to do any cooking. Then it is done already. So I'll just let that steam itself for a couple of minutes. Come on, Charlie. Mix this together, like so. Let the taste acquire itself to each other. There will be a little bit over, I see, but I can use that as breakfast this morning. Local time is 9:50 a.m. So one could almost call it lunch. Let's take a sip of the coffee. Man, I succeeded with the coffee this morning. Okay, now let's get this together. Like so. Mix it together well. Now we can turn off. Then the disadvantage of this sausage is that it sticks like glue when it comes onto a hot plate. Like so. Then we take this one. See to it that everything is well mixed together, like so. Get all the ingredients out of the pan, and I'm going to go to extreme lengths with it. See, nothing wasted. Put it together nicely, like so. Just make sure that all of it is really in. Good and tight. Right, so far so good. Now, get out the cheese. And I would use gratin cheese, already grated cheese, normally. But I thought I'd make it a little bit more complicated than that today. Right, now this has had a chance to settle. And the oven is ready to use. This is a high-speed oven. Oh yeah, I forgot to add the water to the pan at the bottom of the stove, but never mind. This we add to the mix. Might be a good idea to add a little bit more milk. I would have preferred to have a lactose-free cream as well, but it doesn't matter. We'll do this like so. Let's bring that in for a close-up. I don't know if you can see it. Like so. And in Sweden we have something that other countries don't generally have. It's called a cheese slicer. I mean, why I'm amused about it is because some people say, how do you do that? We don't use that. We use a melting wire or a cutting wire, or you know. Why use a cutting wire when you can do that? And you know, having cheese on a sandwich is so much easier with one of these. You don't get a thick slab of cheese. It depends on how you bend this thing, of course, but for personal preferences, but my goodness. Isn't it easier just to slice it into thin, usable pieces? Like so. There we go. Then that is done. But now, according to legend, my mother used to use fresh tomatoes, sliced. Freshly sliced tomatoes underneath the cheese first. And let's see if I can find it. It's always a problem when one has a lot of spices. Or am I out of it? No, I don't think I'm out. Here we go. Now I can add a little bit of paprika. like so, just to decorate it. Not too much, because if one adds too much paprika, one can't see when it's done. And then we go for the positioning of the in the middle of the oven, not at the bottom. Some people, they say oven, it must be in the bottom of the oven. No, no, no. Because then the underside gets burned. We can actually move this one down, this grate down, one step. Like so. Just to make the cooking a little bit more effective, we can add a little bit of moisture to it. There we go. Now 30 minutes from now, kan du stanna då? There we go. Okay, that camera was slightly hot. Okay, so while we wait for that to get done, cheers, a cup of coffee. And the usual fun, the dishes. But I'll rejoin you as soon as this is done in 30 minutes. I will not let the video run, so we'll skip the 30 minutes and make it like a hyperloop. See you in a bit.
Soon after.
Okay, so now we're back. Little more than half an hour has passed. Actually, I've been in a little bit too long in the oven, but I got caught up in something else. But I don't think it has been destroyed, the food anyway. Shall we try and bring it out and have a look, see what it looks like? Smells absolutely amazing. Shall we go closer, shall we? Okay, here we go. Okay, so the camera is not giving it the right, exactly the right color spectrum. There we go, that's what it looks like. could it look more delicious than that? And the smell is absolutely amazing. So yeah, now one lets it stand for 2, 3, maybe 4 minutes before serving, if one is serving for others to eat. This is just to let the food settle before putting it on a plate. And so we're done. Okay, so there we are. We have one dinner ready to serve later on when I get back. And I hope you have enjoyed watching the video, and thanks for watching. If you like this kind of video, smash the like button, press the subscribe. I'll catch you all later.